Today we're going to check out the Jack Daniel's Heritage Barrel. Now this one this year is a single barrel product. It is 100 proof and it says it is a toasted barrel. Now one of the things significant about a single barrel product is not all single barrels are created equal. Now I know you've seen other people review the Jack Daniel's Heritage, but you have not seen anybody else compare the single barrels to each other to see if there's a lot of variance in the single barrels.
That's how many?
Like I said, not all single barrels are created equal. The different barrels, what warehouse they're in, their dump dates, how old they are, all that stuff has a great effect on the flavor. So even though it's from the same distillery, two different single barrels might be very different. Now there are some distilleries that have very consistent single barrel programs to where when you buy one of these single barrels, you know exactly what you're going to get because there's a lot of consistency in their single barrels. But there are other distilleries that have a lot of variance in their single barrels. And that's part of the attraction, is because you might get a single barrel that's way better than all the other single barrels that you've had. And for some people, that keeps them purchasing those single barrels over and over and over again because they like that variety, the spice in life. But at the same time, some people really like a good, consistent product. But we don't know how these toasted barrels line up. So that's why I'm going to try 4 different single barrels side by side to let you know if I think there's a lot of variance in these single barrels, or if all 4 of them somehow taste exactly the same. I'll let you know if you've had one, you've had them all. All right, so I'm gonna line my glasses up right here, that way you guys can see them, and I'm gonna pour these in the order number of the barrel numbers from lowest to highest. That way, if there's any ASVAB waivers out there watching this, it won't be too hard for you to keep up. Barrel entry date 7/7/17 with a bottling date of 7/17/25. And for those of you that still have your boots on, that makes this exactly 8 years old. All right, this one is going to be a fresh cork pop. Actually, all 3 of the next ones are going to be. And I pulled some cases apart and dug through them and found different single barrels for other people to try. That was kind of a weak cork pop. So this one is barrel entry date 7/12/17 with a bottling date of 8/4/25. So that makes this one 8 years old and about 2.5 weeks. But the barrel number is 2504929. Another fresh box. This one has the same bottling and the same barrel date as the last one, 07/7/12/17 and bottling date 8/4/25. This one is barrel number 04930. And last but not least, cork pop. Nice. Same bottling, same barrel date, 7/12/17, 8/4/25. This one is barrel number 04932. So in order, we've got 089, 929, 930, and 932. All right, let's check them out on the nose. This smells a lot like the Jack Daniel's 10-year. Yeah, this smells very similar to the Jack Daniel's 10-year. So anybody out there, if you have not had the Jack Daniel's 10-year, it smells a lot like it. And so I'm guessing the flavor profile is going to be right there as well. Get on to glass 2. This one has a little bit darker of a nose. I wonder if this is more in line with the Jack 12. Hold on. Let me give this a sniff. Just for fun. No, the Jack 12 has a lot more wood on it. A lot more oaky. But the that banana bread flavor that you're getting in the nose on that one, very similar. All right, glass number 3, this is barrel 930. This one smells in between the first 2, and how dark it is, how rich it is, the banana bread notes. This one has a lighter vanilla toffee note that the other ones don't have. Oh my goodness, maybe 932 is going to be the interesting one. Let's go back through and check these out on the palate. Well, I'm telling you, the flavor profile is very similar. Ooh. A little bit more finish than I was expecting. Flavor profile is very similar to the Jack 10. The Jack 10 has a little bit more oak up front, while this one has a little bit more graham cracker up front. You're just replacing that one note for the other. Other than that, across the entire pellet, very similar to the Jack 10. It's good though, I like it. Let's move on to glass 2. This is the 929. Cheers. The middle of the palate is a little bit richer, and the graham cracker note turns a little bit more of a molasses cookie. I like the palate on number 2 a lot more. I'm gonna rinse out with some water real quick. All right, let's try number 3. This is the 930. Cheers. This one has a little bit more graham cracker in the front, but it's a lot more bitter in the back. Let's try that one again. The front of the palate is really light compared to the first two, and the palate gets bitter. I'm not a fan of number 3 at all. So the 930 is not my jam. Let's move on to the 932. Cheers. If you were to line these up for me and I didn't know the stats on the barrels, I'm just saying if, I would guess that this one is the highest proof and the youngest. I liked the nose on it the best, but on the palate, it was drier on my tongue. It tasted a little bit more youthful. The graham cracker note was a little bit sharper, and the finish was a little bit more sour. And so on the nose, I liked 932 the best. On the palate, 929 for sure, and 089 had the best finish by far. But now I do think 089 has the best finish of them all, but it was the first one I drank. So I'm gonna go back to 089 after I tried these other ones to see if that still holds true. No, I think I was just getting that because this was my first drink of the night. Going back to it a second time, 089 is starting to not stand out to me as much as I thought it was before. But since this was my first drink of the night, before I moved on to the other ones, that does make sense. Let's try number 2 again. I still stand by that number 2 is my favorite. 929 still stands up. I really like the middle of the palate on that one. All right, so you just got to watch all of that and fast forward as I tried them all through and then tried them again. I tried them from left to right, and then I skipped around a little bit after that. Now, like I told you before, the whole point in me doing this is so that I could tell you either once you've had one, you've had them all, or single barrels taste different, so go out and collect them all. And unfortunately, I cannot tell you either one of those, because they do taste like they came from the same area of the same warehouse, which makes sense because 3 out of the 4 single barrels I have were barreled and bottled on the same dates, and the barrel numbers are very close to each other. But with that being said, the single barrel does have its say in the matter, and I clearly do have a favorite. But at the end of the day, I do not think the variance is enough to go out chasing other single barrels. What I would suggest to you is find some of your friends that have one of these and swap samples with them. Well, thanks for watching this fun experiment. Earn, protect, enjoy. Cheers.